Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is one of the most elaborate fighting games ever created. When you view a set in its entirety, every interaction is dictated by matchup, stage selection, positioning, and frame advantage, among a litany of other factors. Keeping track of all these variables is humanly impossible, leaving players to choose what information will guide them to victory. This is all on top of the game being played at high speeds while demanding proficient mechanical skills, and God forbid the matchup is a -2. Smash Bros., and all fighting games for that matter, are complicated in more ways than I can explain in this video, but it doesn't have to be that way, especially not for the likes of Ismaelis. Ismaelis' play is the embodiment of simplicity. His combos are short but potent, his neutral and onslaught of nair and down tilt, his tech chase is all but guaranteed to end with up smash. Ridley's character-defining moves, on a practical level, present easy solutions to challenging situations, a luxury that not many fighters have. His various disjoints are perfectly made to cover space and lock down different zones of the stage. Ismaelis leverages this by abusing forward and down tilt to cover the ground, nair, fair, and up tilt to cover the air, and plasma breath underneath platforms to accomplish both, albeit with more setup required. Whenever Ismaelis puts out a hitbox, there's a binary of winning situations and losing situations. Let's take run-up nair in neutral for example. Before Ismaelis decided to nair in this position, as in when both players are doing nothing, the opponent could theoretically do anything, making it difficult to identify a winning and losing scenario. The moment Ismaelis decides to nair, the opponent must also make a decision, otherwise they're guaranteed to get hit and lose neutral. Although he still can't tell what exactly the opponent's decision is going to be, Ismaelis is completely aware of what options will win and what options won't win. If the nair hits, great. He gets damage, positioning, and depending on percent and stage, a tech chase on a platform or true combo into a jab. If the nair doesn't hit, whether it's because it got shielded, dodged, or intercepted, the option the opponent chose in that moment is still valuable information for Ismaelis, as that gives insights to what the opponent is thinking about. The nair hitting isn't what matters, but rather the information and resource exchange that follows. Understanding the give and take each move has, not just with Ridley, but with any character, will enable you to develop robust game plans and win sets consistently. By far, the biggest strength of a simple playstyle is being able to quickly determine and execute what options best fit a situation. When you strip away all of the embellishment that comes with a real set, what remains are only a few possible points of failure. Players will lose neutral more often than not for one of two reasons. They're either getting hit on the ground, or they're getting jumped in on. Just by observing where you're getting hit, you can make rapid adaptations by shifting your focus from one space to another. If your opponent seems to be rushing you on the ground, use more forward and down tilt to lock down the floor. If the opponent keeps jumping over your ground pokes, throw out more up tilt, nair, and fair to swat them away. Notice how the solutions to these problems are very simple not only in concept, but also in execution. By simplifying your playstyle, it becomes easier to implement adaptations in real time since the actual inputs to do them are very forgiving. Ridley in general is a low execution character, getting a lot of mileage from pokes and down throw combos alone. Ridley doesn't demand much mechanically from the player, and embracing this mentality will allow you to cut the fluff that other characters deal with and purely observe the game. Although simplification will allow you to perform faster and with more certainty in your options, there is a huge reason why players aren't just min-maxing to have the most bare-bones game plans. By reducing the number of options in your toolbox, you have less answers for every possible situation. Ismaelis, for example, does not utilize ledge trumps as a part of his game plan, and even insists that he cannot perform them. Although Ridley technically doesn't need to ledge trump in order to ledge trap since forward tilt, nair, and plasma breath are so strong, it leaves out a very potent complementary tool that serves as an alternative path to our win condition. Mezcal and Smub, the best Ridleys in the world for comparison, have implemented ledge trumping into their game plans to amazing effect. This isn't meant to bash Ismaelis or say that if you don't use every niche tech of your character you're trolling. It's to remind you that a truly great game plan is one that allows you to access your win condition in more ways than one. Speaking of which, this whole time I've mentioned the idea of a game plan and that keeping it simple is best, but what actually is a game plan? Simply put, it's a strategy that guides you in how to play Smash's 80 plus matchups. The method I use to make them is centered around answering 4 questions. What is my win condition? What is my opponent's win condition? How do I gain value? And how do I deny value? Win conditions are a game state in which someone can guarantee taking a stock from the opponent. Some common win conditions include edgeguarding, ledge trapping, and juggling, as these are applicable to most characters' kits. Ridley, more often than not, will be edgeguarding, hitting the opponent off stage until they fall into the blast zone, or ledge trapping, keeping the opponent from getting past one side of the stage until they lose their stock. Value represents anything that gets someone closer to their win condition. This is most commonly damage, stage positioning, and resource addition or removal. When we gain value, we are getting closer to our win condition, and when we deny value, we are keeping the opponent farther away from theirs. Here is a game plan I made from watching Ismaelis' set against Bacchus's Mario in Grand Finals at Station Slam, French D-Tier in August of 2025. Let's start by defining Ridley and Mario's win conditions. Ridley's best win conditions are edgeguarding and ledge trapping Mario, as his recovery is highly exploitable and prone to early stock losses, while Mario's win condition is to combo Ridley into a kill confirm, either off the top or sides of the stage, as his size makes connecting long strings much more reliable. Here I've laid out the various ways that Ridley gains and denies value against Mario. Remember, gaining value in this case is anything that gets Ridley closer to a situation where he can edgeguard or ledge trap Mario, while denying value is anything that gets Ridley farther away from a situation where Mario can threaten kills off of ladders or confirms into forward air. You may notice that the ways that we gain and deny value kind of overlap each other in some ways, and that's because this is true. They do overlap. There are situations where in one way we gain value and in another way we also deny value at the same time. This is usually going to come from our very strong buttons, so think like our Nair, our down tilt, our F tilt, our up tilt, because they give us ways to access our win conditions, or at the very least get us closer to our win conditions, and at the same time they also prevent the opponent from getting closer to theirs. That's why I think Ridley is one of the easiest characters to play and make game plans for. It's just because gaining value and denying value are so intertwined and his buttons are just so easy to use. Like you could just throw it out and you cover all these different options and get so much value off of it. One last thing you should add into your game plans are niche interactions or any notes on a particular move's properties. For example, one thing Ismaelis didn't account for was Mario's cape, which allowed Bacchus to take his stock right here. My favorite part about this thought process is that any character can use it, not just Ridley. All characters have identifiable win conditions and counterplay. It's up to the players and their peers to think about, experiment, and discuss the solutions they come up with to form the best game plans. Ultimate has one of, if not the largest cast across all fighting games, so it's perfectly normal to feel overwhelmed when planning for each character. Never be afraid to watch another person play a matchup that you struggle with, and if you choose to watch Ismaelis, the answers to your problems will always be one thing: simple. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment any feedback below. I want to make this a recurring series to give both Ridley mains and the wider player base insights on improving as players. I have a few ideas for which Ridley I'll analyze next, but feel free to comment down below who you'd like to see as well. The Mescal and Smub case studies will come out later on, since I also want to use these videos as a way to highlight less popular Ridleys around the world. I'd also like to give a big shout out to my friend and coach, Viniki. They taught me everything I know about making game plans, and we've even made some together that I've actually used in bracket. If you don't play Ridley and want a coach that won't break the bank, hit up Viniki's DM. You can find them on Twitter here and also in the description. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next one.